Whenever Leviatan have lost this year, and trust me, it's happened a lot, the general reaction and outcry from the fan base and the community at large has been it's Demon One's fault. If he was positive, he was baiting or his playstyle wasn't good. If he was negative, then any duelist could do better than what he's doing and he's useless. Well, now he's gone. He was replaced with Sato, who dropped 31 kills on the first map. The only issue is that was the only map Lev were able to win. In fact, Sato was also the only person to go positive for Lev in the series. So what happened? This team at the start of the year was a championship contender, at least on paper, and since then they have fallen to not being able to qualify for regional playoffs. So what's the real issue with Lev? In this video, we're going to find out. Also, to celebrate my newest America's video coming out for the start of Stage 2, I made a fantasy football league. Click the link in the description if you want to join. I think it'll be a ton of fun. Anyways, let's get into it. Now, Lev did win the pistol round here, but it doesn't go too well on this round. It's a mix of luck and just kind of unfortunate timing. But the thing with Lev and their new coach, if you don't know, Desmos is their new coach. He was their assistant coach, but Itapata has moved on. They are seemingly a lot more jet-pilled. For example, on Icebox, Lev ran some Yoru. On Ascent, they ran Yoru and I believe Waylay one time through Tex. But what you'll see here is when Com tries to drone, right here, he doesn't see anyone. They're behind the harbor wall. There's no info that anyone's on the site, so Lev assumed that Loud have stacked A. It's a big mistake. When they go through here, two players almost instantly die here, and they're the ones with the rifles. It was an FPX buy for Lev, so Sato feels like he has to make a hero play, and he kind of did, but he was only able to go 1-for-1 Pancata with the right click, and now it's pretty much cooked. I mean, King has a rifle, he has the bomb, yes, but he's so low. Tex's lurk with a ghost is really your kind of saving grace here. He's able to get one on Pancata, but then dies here, and you'll see that King then goes, oh, okay, there's someone here, I'm going to try and fake the plant, bait out the peek, get a kill, can't do it, 1-to-1, and this eco spirals Lev into disaster. But on their buy round, a lot of things go wrong for Lev. Now you're going to have to ignore this poorly draw penis, that's the casters, but they go for a little bit of an A hit here, but it doesn't really end up working out. Obviously, having two people on the lurk at the same place means they could have just wanted to go B anyways after faking some pressure. This operator ends up not finding any value, by the way. The round could have been massively changed if he pushed up and was okay being aggressive earlier. He could have cut off these rotations, but doesn't end up happening. And as you can see, he's going to run away. Now, Pancata is in a very aggressive spot here, getting the information. He is the solo anchor right now of B. After he hears this, he throws a beautiful molly that buys them literally like 10 seconds. But I want to talk about this Viper Orb. A lot of people haven't understood why Sentinels use their Omen comp, and in part is literally this one orb, right? They use their No Duelist comp, they have the Omen. It is literally because this orb is so unbelievably oppressive for the attackers to try and push past, and you can do it better on Omen because obviously smokes last longer, you can keep refreshing it. That's what gets them the first kill onto Tex. Now, boom, as soon as the Viper walls are down here, Sato dies. Everyone has to go jumping back. The bomb doesn't even get down. And at this point, you start to lose. It starts to kind of fall apart for Lev. For example, right here, Com dies. He's looking upper. Robbie here is going to end up dying as well. And Okinos, I believe that's how you say his name, isn't able to get the kill despite tanking the molly. There was a lot of, it seemed like confusion on what they wanted to do. For example, if you look back here and see on the entry, right here, when Tex is dying to this orb, Sato's upper, and it seems like some of the players, again, are upper and cool with kind of chilling. For example, Harbor hasn't thrown his wall yet. Your bomb is still back here. So he waits, and then he's a little late there. That does mean that once he starts planting, it ends up being a 4v3. Just a lot of kind of disconnected activity, in my opinion. Now Loud are getting confident. By confident, I mean they're getting almost disrespectful with the plays that are called. For example, a 3-man walk down mid to just kill Tex, forcing the execute to speed up on B. Pancata realizes this and backs out. You don't want to kind of dilly-dally around in main anymore because of that pressure of a flank. No one is holding it. But even with this 4v5 on site, you should still have a chance if you're Lev. Then Com, bless his soul, he ends up pieing later this game, gets killed. And after that, again, Sato and Okinos, the new pickups are put in an uncomfortable spot. Loud could be literally anywhere. You have no idea where they are, and you're forced to just hold and hope here. Then Okinos takes this fight, Pancata kills him, then Sato gets opped. Really quickly, I would love for you guys to put what you think Lev will finish in Americas and why in the comments section. I just want to get your guys' opinion. Anyways, let's move on. Now, I've shown a lot of rounds that Lev have lost, but I'll show one that they won here. So they just go towards A, they disrespect the operator, forcing him to kind of back up. It's not even really disrespect, it's just forced to back up there. Tex gets the first blood onto said operator, quickly traded out by Kaunzin, but here is where the magic happens. They're aware now that, our KJ is dead, we need to be watching flank, and it's a 3-person affair for Lev on site. It's also 3 people on site for the retake, or very close to it, on Loud, ready to try and retake if they need to. Okinos goes ahead, goes in, is going to eventually get the bomb down after getting the kill on Kaunzin, but look at this. It is a 2v4, quickly turned into a 2v3 because Calm dies on the flank, and now, this right here, they go in, they reload all that, and then staring lovingly into each other's eyes, the greatest love story of our generation, Okinos and Sato is quickly brutally ended by Luke Shaw. I feel like he's been unbelievably good as a rookie and doesn't get talked about enough because he's not on like MIBR. I think he's been insane. Pankata gets one, and right here, Sato is just in the 1v1. Right here, he's been, not too great this game because you can't be too great when your team is down 6-1 and you're the entry duelist on attack. But he's able to clutch this out. So a very close round here, but it's very good for Lev, especially considering that 4 of their players had stingers going into this. Now, this bonus round from Lev that they end up winning honestly had me believe they would get back into this game. I truly believed that they were going to be able to win this game off the back of this momentum. As you can see, Sato with the first blood, Luke showed trade, but it's still a 4v4, and you're going to take that every single time when the enemy is on their bonus, when they have all of those rifles. They go ahead and just decide to go back towards A here, right? Now, the big thing comes down to Comp. He's on site here. He needs to be able to fight together with Tex and anchor for a little bit so you can get the rotations from B over. Tex kills Robbie, and then you can see everyone starts to kind of rotate over the harbor wall to cut off the info mid, but Lucio doesn't care. And this mid fight ends up winning the round for Lev. Pankata trades it out here. Luke Show is just trying to lurk. As you can see here, he goes up here. The KJ utility is down because of that kill onto Tex. He's going to try and wrap all the way around. But Loud pivot. And they pivot a little too early, in my opinion. I think if they had showed some presence for a couple more seconds, Luke Show is able to get around and win this round. Instead, he has his knife out trying to take the timing while King is coming back. He re-clears the area and then goes away. Now, here's a thing I really don't get, right? I understand why his knife was out there. Calm having his knife out here does not make much sense to me. Pankata, as you'll see in a second, is literally fighting Okinos right above him. I understand the thought process, right? Calm cobbles his pants down. I understand the thought process, which is Pankata is going to try and keep fighting him. I want to use my knife to get behind him as quickly as possible. But I feel like the fact he's not locked into that fight, right? Okinos is backing off. You should have your gun out if you can, but unable to do that. He also, I believe, pulled his arrows out, so we'll see what happens with that. Anyways, 2v2 scenario. Kaunzin is going to try and bait out a peek right here. He obviously doesn't feel safe planting. He dies. Pankata is just too far behind him to be able to trade, so Lev win this round. But let's see why Lev don't end up winning the game. Full disclosure, this is the weirdest round of Valorant you will ever see. Lev do a push here. Keep in mind, blue is defender, red is attacker. It's going to be very confusing in about 5 seconds when Luke Show ults in their spawn like this is a ranked game, and then the rest of Loud minus 2 players, one having the bomb in their spawn, decide to wrap around A, where Lev, as I mentioned earlier, have already pushed up with this op. But you can't outflank the real flanker here. Calm gets the kill onto Luke Show, making it a 4v4, and now Sato's in a really weird spot where he has to watch both points with the op. The thing is that even though they have this A site, Loud don't have the bomb up here. It's still in spawn, so all of this space isn't really even gained. Sato tries to do his best ass pass impression and dies there, but the space doesn't matter. Because A, you don't have firm control over it, as you can see, he just died. But B, you can't do anything with it, right? You're still going to have to fight Lev as he did there. Now, it kind of seems a bit normal, right? I think the best take on this was a caster who said that Loud were gambling, that Lev were gambling. What that means is it's the reason Loud are still shift walking while they get on the site. They're thinking that Lev are doing exactly what they are, which is going around mid, going to B, because they're thinking Loud would have pivoted over towards B. They didn't. And now Loud in a 2v3 scenario have a couple options. You have 2 ults that are really good for stall, KG ult and the Sova ult, but it doesn't really end up mattering. KG ult does go down, but for some reason Kaunzin flicks away. Like, he saw him. Don't get that twisted. He is on his screen quite clearly. He just flicks away, doesn't decide to fight him, I guess, or just didn't register, probably. Robbie now has to fight in a 3v1 with a KJ ult here. He does an admirable job, honestly, considering the circumstances, understanding he can break the KJ ult because it has the cove, but unable to win it out. Slight issue. This is the last gun round Leviatan won. Loud are now 2 rounds away from winning this map, and obviously the series as well with it. But it doesn't work out. The drone spot Sato, Luxio has a really aggressive TP that he gets the kill off of, but then Verdi comes in, kills 2, and then King as well ends up going down, making it a 1v3. Now, I don't really like this call here, and I'll explain why. When you're going to such an aggressive fight here, with Calm specifically. Now, full disclosure, I love Calm. He's a very good player mentally, and he has good supporting utility. However, he's not a player who is, the best at shooting, had a good ascent, but in this game, he pied. He's not a guy who's going to excel in the physical aspect, the shooting your gun aspect. Instead, he's a more mental and supportive player. Putting Calm on this site, A, means that if you lose this fight, Calm is the last line of defense for A. I really don't like that. I wish Calm was over towards B, and obviously it's very easy to say that I'm just arguing with the result of the round, but I truly believe Calm should not have been in a situation where, even best case scenario, which is they win, he's the last line of defense if they don't. And he dies there, making it a 1v3. If he was on B, then Tex could have, maybe had utility in this retake. He could have used that supportive utility from Calm in this situation where maybe Calm pops an ult, gets 1, 2v2. Something other than having him fight early against a team of very, very cracked aimers who I would argue, in terms of strats, are probably worse than you. In the last round, Loud came back. They've exploited mid a lot, and it's a very clear weak point. As you can see here, Luxio, within 10 seconds, is getting the first blood on attacks. Even with this, though, King does a wonderful job. He has to defend B completely alone. A lot of teams will put one player on B and just say, good luck, buddy, give him a little pat on the head, and hope. He does a beautiful job here. He doesn't know if anyone's main. He doesn't know what's happening, and you'll see here, he actually goes back main thinking someone's there. But even with this, even with Okenos getting this kill, it doesn't end up mattering. Because, and again, I really love the guy, Calm is caught unaware, and while finishing 11 and 21 isn't good, I think that we all can also say there are problems with the coordination of Lev. It's very easy to take a look at the scoreboard, see Calm at the bottom, and go, oh, he's bad. And yes, his shooting has been something of an issue. I was pretty shocked he wasn't replaced, quite honestly, over Demon 1. I think he was in terms of fragging, a much bigger issue. However, mentally, he does really help them out. Now, Sato is in the worst position, by the way. They had him by a glass op. He's in literally the worst possible position that a glass op can be in, which is a low numbers retake where no one's peeking him. He just can't do anything. As soon as he whiffs this initial shot, congratulations, it's a 2v1 for Okenos, and he dies. Kalanzine putting him down. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a comment and let me know what you thought about this game, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.